Tuesday, May 7, the two witnesses are killed. Read Revelation 11, verses 7 to 9, remembering that the language is symbolic. What do these verses predict would happen to God's two witnesses, the Old and New Testaments? Revelation 11, beginning at verse 7. Now, when they had finished their testimony, the beast that comes up from the abyss will attack them, and overpower and kill them. Their bodies will lie in the public square of the great city, which is figuratively called Sodom and Egypt, where also their Lord was crucified. For 3.5 days, some from every people, tribe, language, and nation will gaze on their bodies and refuse their burial. By AD 538, the pagan Roman Empire had collapsed. Justinian, the Roman emperor, surrendered civil, political, and religious authority to Pope Vigilus. The long period of the medieval church's domination began. It continued until AD 1798. The French general Berthier, on orders from Napoleon, marched unopposed into Rome on February 10, 1798. Pope Pius VI was taken captive and brought back to France, where he died. This date marks a prophetically predicted end of the Roman Church's secular authority, the 1,260 days or years as depicted in Daniel and Revelation, as we saw in yesterday's study. What a powerful manifestation of the truth of biblical prophecy. Daniel, writing more than 500 years before Christ, so accurately predicted events more than 2,300 years later. We can indeed trust the prophecies given in the Bible. Meanwhile, during all this, the truth of the gospel was kept alive by the witness of the word. But even greater challenges threatened biblical truth. The beast that ascended from the bottomless pit, Satan, made war against the Scriptures. He initiated new assaults on the Bible's authority through the French Revolution that began in 1789. In the French Revolution, the government officially established the cult of reason as a state-sponsored atheistic religion intended to replace Christianity. A festival of reason was held nationwide on November 10, 1793. Churches across France were turned into temples of reason, and a living woman was enthroned as the goddess of reason. Bibles were burnt in the streets. God was declared non-existent, and death was pronounced to be an endless sleep. Satan worked through godless men to kill God's two witnesses. Their dead bodies would lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified, Revelation 11, verse 8. Egypt was a culture of many gods that denied the true God, as we see in Exodus 5, verse 2. Pharaoh said, "Who is the Lord, that I should obey him and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go." Sodom represents gross immorality. In the French Revolution, God's two witnesses, the Old and New Testaments, lay dead as a result of the atheism and immorality that ran rampant as normal restraints were loosed in revolution and bloodshed. Revelation 11 verse 9 says that the bodies of God's two witnesses would lie unburied for 3.5 days, that is, prophetic days, representing 3.5 literal years. Atheism was at its height in the French Revolution, at least for about 3.5 years. This period extended from November 26, 1793, when a decree issued in Paris abolished religion, to June 17, 1797, when the French government removed its restrictive religious laws. This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. And you can listen and watch at the same time on YouTube. Remember, God is always faithful.